SBL.org. Team up with them today.
Damas y caballeros, bienvenidos, ladies and gentlemen. Emanating, coming at you from the multi-million-dollar Sports Byline Studios in San Francisco, California. Check it. This is the one, the only Ring Talk Live Worldwide, hour number 2, September 28th, 2025. Welcome to Ring Talk Live Worldwide. As you know, 41 years now, knocking out all bums. Who am I? My name is Pedro Fernandez. I'm your ever so confident host. And when I say confident, think about this. I was a 4-time Golden Glove champion, won some titles in the PAL world as far as the Police Athletic League is concerned, of course, and also the place in the Western Olympic trials here in the United States. Well, the bottom line is I could fight a little bit, I could ride a little bit, but I'm not the average boxing fan. You are. And, of course, if you're the average boxing fan, are you really buying Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul? I mean, you might as well buy the impeccable one versus, like, Lennox Lewis or something like that. Come on, man. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. How does a guy 5'5" fight a guy that's 6 foot tall and outweighs him by 50 or 60 pounds? It just doesn't work. I mean, even if Jake Paul slimmed down to like 154 pounds, it still wouldn't be a fair fight size-wise. And, of course, Gervonta Davis could fight Jake Paul. It's questionable as to whether he can really fight or not. Of course, I think he's been a self-creation. Of course, a content creator or something like that on YouTube. All kinds of people want to watch him fight. Of course, the fight with Mike Tyson, was it a fight? According to BoxRec.com, of course, they keep the records in boxing. It was a real fight. In my mind, it wasn't a real fight at all. I thought that Mike Tyson just went through the motions, didn't try to hit Jake Paul and things like that. I mean, had Mike Tyson came out in that first round and stepped on Jake Paul's foot and kicked his butt, then I'd have believed he was there to win. But he wasn't there to win. He was there to get paid. Of course, now Mike Tyson's talking about doing something with Floyd Mayweather, another exhibition. I mean, what kind of spit is this? When I say spit on this show, I mean spit with an H. Think about that. Gervonta Davis, Jake Paul, and Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather. I mean, first of all, Floyd Mayweather. You know I'm not a Floyd Mayweather fan. Never have been. Of course, he and I rumbled back in the days when he was a WBC lightweight champion. He was a good fighter at that point in time. Of course, then he stepped up in weight. And when he stepped up in weight, he became a safety-first fighter and started running instead of fighting. And when he started running, that was the end of it. I mean, when he put on those roller skates, that wasn't something I enjoyed watching. I mean, some of you did. Some of you think he's the greatest fighter of all time. I'm in the minority. I guess I don't think he was. I don't even think he rates in the top 10. I just don't. Top 10 of all time? Hell no. Straight up, this is Ring Talk Live Worldwide, 1-800-878-PLAY. That's 1-800-878-7529. This is Ring Talk Live Worldwide on Sports Byline.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Imagine combining the exciting investment opportunity of cryptocurrencies with the power of artificial intelligence to maximize your IRA, 401k, or other investment funds. Listen, if you're looking for ways to accelerate your retirement growth, Block Trust IRA has market-leading strategies and solutions for all levels of investors, from $1,000 to millions. And they partner with Bitcoin Magazine's #1 crypto trading fund in the world to maximize your returns. Plus, their team of IRA specialists is here to help you roll over your IRA or qualified retirement account to the new world of cryptocurrency investments. So make this free call right now to set up your account and learn more.
800-475-6824. 800-475-6824. 800-475-6824. That's 800-475-6824.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who help people that have been injured or wronged. If you've been involved in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or injured at work, you have rights, and you may be entitled to money for your suffering. don't accept an offer you get from an insurance company until you talk to a lawyer. And we represent some of the best personal injury lawyers you can find. Tough lawyers that will fight to win your case. And they're so good they stake their reputation on it by only getting paid if you win. So if you've been in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or hurt on the job, find out today for free what kind of compensation you may be entitled to. Call the legal helpline right now.
800-401-5163. 800-401-5163. 800-401-5163. That's 800-401-5163.
This sandwich, it's a complete game changer. Hello, this is Mike, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club is that juicy chicken with that toasty pretzel bun. That bun, it's crispy, cozy, just amazing. With the pretzel bun, the Dijon mustard, and the chicken, it makes that sweet, savory kind of combination. It's everything that you love about food rolled into one. It looks phenomenal. It tastes great. It's delicious.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with cherry berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonial.
Now, more of Ring Talk with Pedro Fernandez.
Well, folks, we're about to go back in time. Let me tell you how far we're going back. We're going back to 2007, November 2007, the retired HBO Godfather Larry Merchant and myself talking about the end of the Boxing After Dark series. You're tuned to Ring Talk Live Worldwide. You're inside looking to the world of boxing. End of an era or maybe a benchmark in boxing history last night as far as the broadcasting end of it took place when Larry Merchant took part in his last Boxing After Dark broadcast. So, Larry, the bad broadcast, of course, it started in 1996, I believe, with the Marco Antonio Barrera Kennedy McKinney fight at the LA Forum, which is just a few blocks from where you live. It's had a good run. 11 years, been good boxing.
Yeah, well, last night the Guzman Soto fight was a kind of throwback to those old days.
Mm-hmm.
Two fighters in the lower weight classes, well known within the boxing community, but it got a broader audience, and at least for half the fight, they gave us a whale of a fight.
Yeah, and Guzman, I had been studying him since he was at 122 pounds, and he's had his weight issues, and he's had trainer issues, but he's never had ability issues. He has a ton of ability.
Yeah, he's the real deal, and he comes from this undefeated family, Pedro. He told us that his father was 6-0 when he had to retire because of an illness. He's got a kid brother who's just starting out. He's 4-0, and he's never lost as a professional. The last time he lost was the '96 Olympics in Atlanta, and he's a winner.
Well, the Saquon people were so high on him. They were pumping money into him a few years ago, and I thought that maybe he was too much of a headache. And he's turned out to prove a lot of people wrong. He's still unbeaten now, and last night he was quite impressive over Soto. And Soto, by no means, is a hobo. I mean, he was on a 20-fight winning streak.
Yeah. The only question now is who will fight him.
Nobody.
Right.
No,
Bob Arum already said last night that Pacquiao's not going to fight him. And beside that, this kid's going to have to go up in weight class. He's come up from 122. He walked into the ring, Pedro, at 148. Now, just gather this. He was fighting for a junior lightweight title. And about 30 hours later,
he was a junior,
after the weigh-in, he's a junior middleweight.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to move up to 35 or 40, not only because he's fighting the scale now, but also because
nobody will fight him.
Exactly. He's going to have to fight a bigger guy.
But, I thought Barrios was in that position, and he was exposed. And maybe, Guzman stays at 130 too long and gets stale. But at 130, Larry, the super fight is between him and Pacquiao. I mean, there's no question, no doubt about it.
Yeah, but Pacquiao is bursting at the seams as well. He's going to at least move up to, fight at 135, whether he fights Marquez or he fights
Diaz.
He's going to move up to 35 as well.
Speaking of Juan Diaz, a few years ago on the show, you and we talked about his progress, and he wasn't looking all that good. I mean, Juarez at that time was looking better than him. Are you surprised that he's sort of is now at the head of the pack as far as the 2000 class is concerned. You surprised that he's the only one left?
Well, I suppose in hindsight, I'm a little surprised. You know, it's been a couple years since he beat that fighter from Mongolia for a title.
Lakvasim.
Yes, and you suddenly saw this perpetual motion machine.
Mm-hmm.
And look, he beat two really good fighters this year in Freitas and Julio Diaz, and you know he's ready for anything. And you know, he's the kind of fighter that may have a short run on top, but it's a lot of fun watching him while he's there.
Yeah, speaking of fights that didn't materialize, last week's fight between Joel Casamigos and Armando Santa Cruz was probably, I scored the fight 11-1 in rounds, and I think the only reason why I gave him a round, it was the seventh, was because Harold had given him the round, and Harold said, he got that round, so I gave him the round to go along with Harold. And they had like an 11-1 fight, and then two judges come back and say that, you know, the other guy won, Casamigos, when he didn't throw a punch with bad intentions all night long. Larry, that fight really stunk bad. Is the New York Commission really looking into criminal investigations regarding the judges?
Well, I don't think they're looking into a criminal investigation, but I think that set of judges is going to get suspended. But I think Ron Stevens, who's done a terrific job with that commission, the problem is that he tries to rotate all of the judges to see who's going to do the big fights.
Yeah.
And he's got to get away from that. Just like any other sport, when you got a title fight, when you got a big fight, you got to put your best officials out there. And I mean, if that was a headline fight, there'd have been a congressional investigation by now. But there has been a rematch going to happen. The WBC stepped up for that, so that's a good thing. But listen, Casamigos was once a really good fighter, but now he's just a really old fighter. Not just a shot fighter, but a dead fighter. And he doesn't want to get hit anymore. He doesn't put himself behind any punch. And unless he undergoes a rebirth, a total rebirth, he'll have one more fight before we can say goodbye.
Yeah, well, you can't say goodbye fast enough to some people. This is Ring Talk Live Worldwide, your inside look into the world of boxing and mixed martial arts. The godfather of the HBO crew, none other than Larry Merchant himself, is on the line. And Larry, were you a Sooner?
I was a Sooner, yes.
Okay, now, did Oklahoma get upset yesterday?
Yeah, they lost to Texas Tech. Some guy in Texas Tech threw 72 passes and beat them. But I'm okay with that. You know, I'm not one of those die-hard, obsessive fans. I like to see them do well. But in fact, it bothers me a little bit that back in Oklahoma, they have such a storied history of winning national championships and such, that if they just have a 9-2 seasons, people are upset. So I just think they're spoiled, and having an occasional 6-4 or 7-3 season is no great tragedy.
You know, I did a telecast back there with Mills Lane a few years, maybe in 2002, 2003, before he got sick, and it was surrounding the sporting event was surrounding a Sooners game, and I have never seen a much. They're a cult, Larry. It's a cult following. I mean, it's unbelievable. The entire state turns to this college team.
Well, you know, they don't have pro franchises in some places, and as we go on, and more graduates from these universities, and they're getting bigger and bigger, you know, it's become a great social leveler and social force in some places, and it's almost, and maybe it is just too important for what's supposedly an institution of higher learning, but turns out to be an institution of higher scoring.
And they make a lot of money on that football as well. You're tuned to Ring Talk Live Worldwide. Larry Merchant, the godfather of the HBO crew, is in the house.
Now, more of Ring Talk with Pedro Fernandez.
Is looking at you, kid.
My man Scott Cuddy with that fine introduction. You're tuned to Ring Talk Live Worldwide. Your inside look into the world of boxing and mixed martial arts. Last night, HBO rolled out a pretty good card on HBO Boxing After Dark, of course, with Guzman winning over Soto in the main event. But the precursor to all this, of course, was a replay of the Sugar Shane Mosley Miguel Cotto fight, which was a pretty good fight. I mean, no question about it. It was a pretty good fight. It was, of course, part of HBO's pay-per-view card last weekend. Larry, did Shane Mosley's age show a little bit there?
It might have been. I mean, I think that looking at that fight, you say to yourself, the Shane Mosley of 5-6 years ago wins it. But I think it's for him to fight the way he fights, which is not like an old man, not like a guy who's afraid to get hit, which is how most veteran fighters fight. It was a hell of a good performance. It was a very close decision. Can I tell you something that's really odd?
Go ahead, sir.
Mosley got all the three judges gave him 1 round in that fight.
I mean, that's all they could agree on?
That was the only they could agree on. That, you know what that means? That at least one judge gave Cotto 11 rounds. You could say almost that that's a definition of the hometown factor. But it was a close fight. I have no problems with the result, 7-5.
Yep.
Most people thought it was. I thought it was a hell of a good fight. And I think it's conceivable off that fight that if Cotto is not available for Mayweather next year, by the middle of next year, assuming Mayweather beats Hatton, that Mosley, by fighting that well, could be the next opponent for Mayweather.
I was talking with Emmanuel Stewart this week, and I talked to him on last week's show, and he talked about closing the fist. And I know a whole lot about this because in the amateurs, we fought with different gloves sometimes. Sometimes you could close the glove and make a good fist, and other times you couldn't. And when you couldn't close your glove all the way and make a real tight fist like you can in the Reyes gloves as a pro, okay, you lacked punching power, and it took about 25 to 30% off your shot, I think. And Emmanuel agreed with me. And when we looked at Mosley a lot of times, Mosley doesn't ball up that right hand like Tommy Hearns did. He doesn't hold that right hand as tight. Sometimes when he hits, it's not all the way closed, and I think that takes a little bit of the power off his shots.
Look, when he was a lightweight, he was one of the best lightweights of the last generation.
Yeah.
He had 32 fights as a lightweight and stopped 30 opponents.
True.
And like every fighter that moves up in weight, you lose some of your power, and you have to fight a little bit differently. And he's had a great career. You know, there's been very few Shane Mosley fights that you walked out of thinking you wasted your time and your money. And to me, that's all you can ask of a prize fighter.
No question about that. Larry, with that, I wish you the best. Hello to the godmother for me, and I'll be talking to you during the week, sir. Godfather, all the best. You're the greatest.
Thank you very much, Pedro.
He is the greatest, folks. No question about that. Is the Godfather, Larry Merchant, the HBO crew. Man, I feel privileged to be on the radio with him, just to know him. I mean, he's such a great guy. People don't know him. People say he's a smart ass. What people used to tell me. He's not a smart ass. He's smarter than most of us. Smart guy, not a smart ass.
Do you have diabetes? I'm sure you've seen the television commercials on the new CGM devices from all the top brands and how well they can help you manage your diabetes. Do you have the latest and newest in diabetes technology? The Diabetes Solution Center carries most of the top brands, and the great news is your insurance may cover most of the cost. Call our special CGM hotline today, and our friendly representatives will help see if you qualify. You could get a new CGM from the top brands at little or no cost to you. Make living with diabetes easier. You are just one free phone call away to learn if your insurance covers the cost. So make this free call today to the Diabetes Solutions Center and learn for free how to get your new continuous glucose monitor.
800-659-7997. 800-659-7997. 800-659-7997. That's 800-659-7997.
Do you have Medicare and do you use a CPAP machine? This is a national healthcare alert regarding your CPAP supplies. Using a clean CPAP mask and clean supplies is important to staying healthy. The best way to make sure your CPAP equipment is clean is to get new supplies. If you have Medicare, we have great news. Medicare will pay for you to have new clean supplies every 90 days. We'll even do all the paperwork for you to make sure that there's little to no out-of-pocket cost to you. And you don't even have to leave your home. We provide free in-home delivery. So if you're a CPAP user and you have Medicare, staying healthy with new CPAP equipment is easy. Just make this free phone call right now to get started.
Sponsored by Specialty Medical. 800-913-9739. 800-913-9739. 800-913-9739. That's 800-913-9739.
Hello, Americans. It's Uncle Sam here. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS or state, don't worry. I've got important news that may help you negotiate a lower tax bill. In today's economy, the IRS has released a variety of new rules and is offering more flexible terms to help Americans looking to settle their IRS debt. If you apply today, we may be able to lift your wage garnishments and release a freeze on your bank assets or business. Our team of tax professionals can resolve your case and stop collection actions against you. Even if you've been audited or haven't filed a return in years, they can help. Call right now and find out if you qualify to settle your IRS debt for far less than what you owe. Pick up your phone right now and call us for a free $500 IRS tax review. Don't wait. Here's the number.
Call right now. 800-943-9215. 800-943-9215. 800-943-9215. Again, for the last time, that's 800-943-9215.
Now, more of Ring Talk with Pedro Fernandez.
Joe, I know you don't like to talk at a moment like this, but you're getting $2.5 million. Will that make any difference in the way you're going to fight?
Well, it gives me inspiration to do a little more, and go forward a little more, and I feel good about it.
Joe Frazier, of course, the former world heavyweight champion to beat Muhammad Ali in the fight of the century, March 8th, 1971, winning a 15-round unanimous nod. Of course, that was in the Garden, Madison Square Garden. We knocked Ali down in the 15th round. And most people think that Ali was really, really hurt in that 15th round. He wasn't. He was stunned. When he was really hurt was in the 11th round when Frazier had him on the ropes. He played around with Joe Frazier, and he paid the price. So that's why I think he lost the first fight. I mean, Larry Merchant and I, we had Muhammad Ali winning the first fight as far as points were concerned. But then again, we didn't argue with the judges. Didn't argue with the judges. But the bottom line is we both did think he won. Now, let's talk about Sebastian Fedor. Who's that? He's a pretty good-looking fighter. He's 6'5", and he's got a sister that fights this and that. But he's not. We talked about this a little bit earlier with Tommy D, Sir Thomas Dillamuth. Sebastian Fedor doesn't want to fight anybody good. He just doesn't. Why instead of if he was 6'5" and killing everybody, I want to fight all the killers. I wouldn't want to fight Keith Thurman, although Keith Thurman's only 31-1. The fact is that Keith Thurman's older than God. He just is. He's older than dirt. He's been around a long time, hasn't looked that good in the last few fights. His prime was 3 or 4 years ago, maybe. And straight up, him and Fedor looks like a mismatch. Fedor 23-1 and one. Of course, 6'5". That one loss, he got knocked out with that counter punch. But the bottom line is, I think he's got a pretty good chin for being 6'5". He can fight hard for being 6'5". He can fight inside for being 6'5". And for being 6'5", he's a hell of a fighter. Of course, I wouldn't want to fight the dude. I would have to move up like 50 from my natural weight from junior welterweight to like super welterweight. Imagine that. I move up from 140 to 153 pounds and fight this guy at 153, and he weighs in at 153, and then he comes back at 180 pounds, and he's 6'5". How the hell can you beat him? It's pretty impossible unless you catch him with the special shot. But Keith Thurman, I don't think he has a special shot. Of course, this is going down the MGM Grand, Saturday, October 25th, 2025. Of course, it is a big day because the day before I'm throwing an event here in San Francisco at Club Acapulco. Of course, I'm promoting the birthday party. Birthday party, of course, Richard Bean. Who's Richard Bean? Richard Bean was a singer that wrote and sung a song called Suavecito back in the day. And, of course, Suavecito was a #1 smash back in 1972. We're bringing them back for a reunion of sorts. So the bottom line is my hands are full right now as far as outside of Ring Talk Live, worldwide, my PI business. This thing's driving me crazy. But Fedora and Thurman, that's the main event. Co-feature, a guy that I'm just not impressed with, though, Shockey Foster. He's 23-3, big deal. He doesn't punch all that well. Take it on Stephen Fulton, 23-1. Fulton, of course, got lit up by the Japanese fighter, no Inoue. Outside of that, he is unbeaten. But, I guess there's no shame in losing to the best fighter in the world. The other fighter on the card, Jose Alejandro Ramos Jr., 23-1, taking on Shane Mosley Jr. Shane Mosley Jr., 22-4. Of course, Shane Mosley, we just talked about him fighting with Larry Merchant, of course. And Shane was one of those guys that didn't close his fist. What I mean by closing your fist, folks, is you've got to be able to knot up your fist and close it tight inside the glove. If you can't, you'll never get any real leverage on the punch. That's why a lot of these guys wearing these pillow-sized gloves, much like my friend, the aforementioned Devin Haney. Okay, of course, he had that contract with Everlast, and these guys don't think about it. They sell their soul to a sponsor, right? But the sponsor, if the sponsor's not going to give you a product that's beneficial for you, why do you just taking the money? I mean, all these guys that can punch and can punch should be using Reyes Mexican gloves. And why do I say that? Because with these gloves, you can crack. You can punch with these gloves, okay? And you've got to be able, you want to punch as hard as you can. This is professional boxing. You don't want to do anything else. You just don't want to. You want to hit people hard. You want to hit people decisively. You want people to know that they're being hit. You want your punches to have an impact, okay? Unfortunately, a lot of guys aren't able to close that hand. They can't punch, and a lot of women can't punch because I think they're wearing gloves that are too big for them. And as far as size and the fitting is concerned, because a lot of these gloves that the women are wearing are really padded in the knuckle area, and that's the last place you want any padding if you can't punch. You want to be able to expose that knuckle as much as you can. You want your knuckle as close to the top of the glove as you can get it, close to the edge of the lever. Bottom line is, back in the day when gloves were horsehair, they used to put horsehair. They used to make boxing gloves out of horsehair. My trainer, Chris Gomez, and my former trainer before that, Fred Gilbert, both those guys used to grab my gloves. We put on our gloves like 5 minutes before the fight or 10 minutes before the fight, and they'd be rubbing the horsehair away from my knuckles on both hands. They would be rubbing and pushing them out of the way. And sometimes, I remember one time, referee Dick Rawl caught it. He caught us. No. Those gloves. You need to work on those gloves. So he sent us back to the corner. He wouldn't let us fight. We had to change gloves. I kid you not. So I'm not saying I cheated. I'm just trying to say I stretched the rules. Anyway, this is a pay-per-view card on October 25th, 2025, from the MGM Grand Garden Arena, of course, in Las Vegas, Nevada, of course, where they charge you. Let me speak of Las Vegas for a second before I go to this card, into this card anymore. Las Vegas is dead. They have ripped you off to the point where they don't care about you anymore. The revenues are up, and yet the rooms are down to like 76% as far as capacity is concerned, of course, and that's down 11% from last year. 11% is like a depression for Las Vegas. People are getting laid off. The casinos are empty. But there's plenty of homeless people on the strip, tents all over the place, cities underneath the city and the sewer system and the drainage system. There's thousands of people living under the streets of Las Vegas. I kid you not. How do I know? I've been there. I went and saw the camps one time. I was absolutely blown away by it. But the bottom line is, Vegas, the casinos are dead. They want to charge you $75 or $80 for a buffet. Now, back in my day, we were getting buffets for like $8. And you could stagger in drunk to the Stardust Hotel back in the 90s or 2000, up to maybe 10 years ago, and get a steak and eggs for like $5, $5.99. I kid you not, or a piece of prime rib for like $9. I kid you, $8.99. But that won't happen anymore. Your average water in Las Vegas is like $22. You want to buy a bottle of water from your hotel? Costs you $22. Want to buy a burger? That's $25. And now they've got the surge pricing. Get this in Vegas. They're using surge pricing at Peckman. What I mean by that is, the price for a bottle of water at 2 o'clock is different than the price of a bottle of water at 7 o'clock. The price of a bag of popcorn at 2 o'clock is different than the price at 8 o'clock at night. They call it surge pricing. That's why I went to the MGM, the MGM Grand. I stayed at I stayed at the Park Hotel. And I was wondering why there's no posted prices. And then I saw one price, and I remember prices. I'm a cheap guy sometimes, so I remember prices, especially in hotels, from water and that kind of good stuff. So I remember the price on the water, and I came back, and the water was more. And I said, hey, this water is like 18, 20 cents more than it was. She goes, oh, we have surge pricing. I said, what does surge pricing mean? She goes, we change the price anytime we want. I said, man, this got to go. Of course, that Resort fees, that's an extra charge they put in your room. So when you rent a room for like $109, right, it turns out to be there's a $49 resort fee charge on that. And then they charge you for the pool. The last time I was there in Las Vegas, and that was in the wintertime, the pool wasn't open. They charged me for that. Wait, I'm not done. It's crazy. It's absolutely mind-boggling. It just says they will rip you off like you would automatic tips. I mean, if you don't look at your check when you buy a couple of drinks, which are $25 a pop, but you get your check back, right? The tip's already included. They included 20% of each tip. So you look down, do I need to give you a tip? And they go, oh, and the guy plays stupid with you. You double tip them. I mean, Las Vegas is just, it's gone from the greatest place in the entire world. I used to love to go there. I used to work there. I could have lived there at one point in time. I lived in the Imperial Palace Hotel for a long time. But the bottom line is, it wasn't my forte. Okay, it just wasn't my cup of tea. It was too hot. Okay, but now not only is it hot, it's desperate. Las Vegas is desperate. I think more casinos are gonna close. I don't think they'll be opening any more big mega events. And bottom line is, I think that the depression is on. The depression's on. The recession's on. And with Las Vegas, it always goes to Vegas first. Afterwards, everything drops. Hey, and Canadians don't want to go to Vegas because Trump said he wanted to make Canada the 51st state. What kind of crap is that? Straight up, this is Ring Talk.
Keep listening for details on how to get up to $300 airline credit. Sky Holidays introduces a one-of-a-kind air credit program. Our buying team got a little too aggressive in getting hotel and air deals, so now we have to liquidate our prices. Here's how. Whether you want to go to Paris, Las Vegas, London, Atlanta, Hawaii, or anywhere else in the world, we have amazing deals. Book a selected hotel and we'll give you up to $300 airline credit. Now you can book your vacation and get a free credit to use towards airline travel. We'll book both, airline and hotel, with one simple phone call. We have access to most airlines and deals on thousands and thousands of places to stay. Call right now, book your hotel rooms, claim your airline credit. You can change or modify it at any time. 800-256-4816. 800-256-4816. That's 800-256-4816.
Special alert for consumers struggling to pay taxes. There are new tax regulations, not published yet. We have the inside track on your new tax savings. These programs are designed to help struggling taxpayers like you. The COVID relief programs are gone, but there are new programs to help struggling taxpayers, and we have the inside track. Call now, and we'll take you through these new programs. These taxpayer savings programs have never been available until now. Get out of tax trouble now. It doesn't take weeks. It can happen in one phone call. Call now and get the inside track to get rid of your tax problems.
Call the tax helpline now. 800-949-0039. 800-949-0039. 800-949-0039. That's 800-949-0039.
Okay, let's have a little fun. Do you use the expensive blue pill to perform better? Are you thinking about it? So what if we can promise you results for less than $1 a pill? Okay, so these same pills can cost you $30 or more at a pharmacy. And our Better Blue Pill works for less than $1 a pill. You'll save $29 or more per pill. And right now, we'll give you 120 blue pills for just $99. Have a little fun and call right now. Get 120 of our Better Blue Pills for just $99. Don't overpay for the other blue pills. Call Steel Man Pills right now and get the Better Blue Pill for less than $1 a pill. Call 1-800-BUY-BLUE, 1-800-BUY-BLUE. It's easy to remember. 1-800-BUY-BLUE. That's 1-800-BUY-BLUE. And thanks for calling.
Now, more of Ring Talk with Pedro Fernandez.
You're irritating me now.
My next guest hasn't lost a fight since, I guess, Joe Biden was president. Straight up, I'm talking about Kingsley Ibe. Kingsley, how's life treating you, my brother?
I'm good, Pedro. How are you doing?
Pretty
good,
man.
Your voice again.
Talk to me. San Salvador nice?
Oh man, it's actually amazing. It actually blew my mind. I was expecting, you know, minimum average, but it is somewhere I'm definitely going to go back to in the near future.
You know, I've been there. It's a nice place, no doubt about that. But nothing like home. I don't care what anybody says. Of course, I'm not a big fan of the United States right now. But talk to me, Gerald Washington. You know, he came to fight, no doubt about it. You guys hooked it up for the WBC regional title of FICAR box title, of course. And you knocked him out in 3 rounds. And I sort of sent you a text and said, if you didn't get him out of there in 3, I'd be upset.
Yeah, you sure did. Definitely, that was the goal. You know, he definitely came to fight. I think he was in even better shape mentally, even physically, than when he fought Wilder. And at the weigh-ins, he made it obvious, made some comments, and he came for war.
Came to war, no doubt about that, and he paid for it in 3 rounds. How you feeling? Any injuries, anything like that coming out of this?
No. I think I probably got touched once or twice in that fight. But I feel pretty good. Ready for the next one. A few things in the works already. Okay. Excited for it.
You know, I know I'm very cautious when it comes to building a fighter up, and I like to take my steps, especially with the heavyweight. If I was controlling a heavyweight or guiding a heavyweight, I do it in very slow, in baby steps. And is it frustrating when somebody wants to move your career that way? I mean, that's just the way us pros want to. You feel me?
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, it's definitely frustrating, especially now with the way boxing is going on. Honestly, I'm a little disappointed. I'm a strong believer in, you know, you want the best, you go after the best. But right now, it's harder to get good fights. You know, I think promoters are hiding their fighters, trying to set up a nice layup for them, which is good business-wise, but they're not really fighting the best or someone who actually wants to fight.
In the old days, Don King and Bob Arum, these guys realized that they had to do that to an extent, but they also realized they had to succeed. They had to entertain people. They had to put forth entertaining fights. I mean, Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis, is that really a boxing match?
I mean, obviously, you just answered the question. You know, if you question it, then it's definitely not. I respect, you know, entertainment, but that's just like WWE now. You know, there's weight classes for a reason. You know, it's like me going to beat pretty much me fighting a woman. In my perspective.
No, you fighting a flyweight.
Yeah, exactly. You know, same thing, the same power, the same output. It's just fighting a woman that's 100 pounds less than me and expecting, you know, I mean, it's just entertainment at this point. It's not really fighting, if you ask me.
And to add insult to injury, Mike Tyson, who didn't throw a punch against Jake Paul with a bad intention on it. Of course, Mike is a mean dude, no doubt about that. Whether he's stoned on weed or not, he's still a mean dude. He didn't go after Jake Paul at all. Did you think the Jake Paul fight was a little suspicious?
You know, definitely from Tyson in his history, but again, you know, keep in mind he's a lot more older. But in my book, if you ask me, I'm pretty sure he did it for the money. You know, that's the only reason he's fighting Jake Paul. He could have fought anybody in his era.
Times, you know, Kingsley, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but there were times when he was. I mean, Jake Paul was standing right in front of that right hand, and I'm saying to myself, even if I'm 90 years old, I'm going to throw. This is my shot. I'm going to throw it, and he didn't throw it.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw online, there was a social media thing going on that the contract stipulated there are certain punches he couldn't throw.
Are you serious?
Which, again, brings us back to the WWE. Yeah, it's scripted, you know. I mean, it's boxing, but there were certain things in the contract that he couldn't do. That's what I saw online.
Okay, so if that's the case, then how could BoxRec.com, the official record keeper of boxing, how could they rule that to be a real fight then?
you know, there's a saying that says, what money can't do, more money can do it. You know, Jake Paul right now has the finance to do it. He has the younger crowd. He has the media. You know, so anything is possible. But we all watch the fight. We know there are certain punches that Mike Tyson, even at 60 years old, would still be able to throw, and he was holding back. We can all see it. So, you know, why?
I keep saying to myself, let it go. I mean, here's, you know, even if Mike Tyson was reverted to a street fighter, you and I know that the street guys that fight in the street only throw the right hand. I've never lost a street fight for the most part because I step to my right, which is away from their right hand, and they always throw the right hand. That's what squares do, right, Kingsley?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, if you're street fighter, you got to throw that right hand. But he was
Mike
holding
had
it
him
back.
in range a whole bunch of times. Let's go through the heavyweight division here. Tell me what you think. Oleg Usyk, is he as good as people think he is? He's 38 years old, 34 in zip. 24 in zip, never lost a fight as a cruiserweight or a heavyweight. And of course, a and noted amateur. But the bottom line is he as good as he's supposed to be? As people say he is?
Jake Paul?
No, I'm talking about Oleg Usyk.
Oh, Usyk definitely. He's a legend. He's defeated the top guys. Even fights I thought he would lose. So you got to give your hat off to him. Give him his respect is duly earned. But if you ask me, he's not a true heavyweight, but he's defeated over heavyweight. So you got to give him props.
Okay.
The only way I've watched, the only way to beat him will be someone who can actually be a heavyweight and, walk him down. Man, he's fast, he's loose, he's practice strategy, he's always moving. So you got to take some shots in. But for Usyk, you got to have someone who's going to walk him down and, beat him up. That's the only way.
What about AJ Cabello, the guy out of Germany? He's 26-0. He's 33 years old. What do you think of him?
Cabello, I believe, is definitely a true heavyweight, strong, physical guy. Definitely someone that would go, to battle toe-to-toe. Very powerful. Yeah, he's definitely a true heavyweight. Got to give him his respect.
Okay, Daniel Dubois, is he done? Stick a fork in him, 22-3?
Oh, man. Daniel Dubois, he beat AJ. I give him respect for that. But, he has a lot of things to do. There are a lot of openings. He's someone that, in my opinion, he has a very soft chin and can't take a punch. So if you step up to him and punch with him and punch hard, you get him out of there in less than 5.
I was really high in the 2012 Olympic gold medalist AJ, Anthony Joshua. I really was. But I think he lacks intestinal fortitude. If he's a heavyweight with the stones maybe the size of a flyweight. You know what I'm trying to say? He has little sack down there.
Yeah, he's definitely, AJ so solid guy. The last couple of fights, he actually Dubois even beat him and stopped him. But again, it's heavyweight. Anything is possible. If you watched that fight, you saw that one punch changed everything because AJ was going in for the kill.
But they're still going to try to put him and Tyson Fury together in Wembley Stadium, right?
That's what they're saying. Actually, they just released. I think Eddie Hearn just released the top 10 fighters for him. We happen to be on that list as well. So I'm looking at fighting AJ as well in the near future, early next year, if that comes to be in Africa.
All right, that's cool. Now, Daniel, Joseph Parker, 36-3. Talk to me about Joseph.
Parker, man, I like
taking
Parker.
on Fabio Wardley, right?
Yeah, he's fighting Fabio Wardley. I like Parker as a person. I think his last fight, if you guys watched, he got lucky with the Martin Bancole, which I think, if you watch the fight, Martin was beating him and walking him down, and he threw that overhand that stopped, Bancole. But Joseph is a very decent fighter. I see him. I think he's probably going to win the fight with Wadley.
Martin Barcoli, I was so high on him, and then all the air came out of him when he took that fight on 1 minute's notice and went over to Saudi Arabia and sort of got beat up.
Yeah, so if you watch that fight, it's very controversial. The fight, he was actually winning the fight in my book until that one punch landed. Yes, you can say he came on prepared, but that punch would drop anybody at any point in time. If you ask me, that's just a lucky fight, a lucky punch that landed.
Yeah,
I still believe.
But you don't go from having beers with your buddy to fighting somebody and weighing 315 pounds.
Man, you're a fighter. That's what fighters do. You fight. I give him a lot of respect for taking that fight.
Hey, that would be like me being a junior welterweight wanting to fight somebody at 200 pounds. Let's step up, buddy. No. I know better. You don't mess with 200 pounders. Now, Joseph Parker. Who wins with him and Wardley?
I think Joseph Parker.
Okay, you don't think Wardley's a real deal, 19-0 with one draw?
I think he's definitely a real deal. He's a good fighter, smart fighter, can go the distance. But his last fight, he, again, heavyweight. If you watch his last fight with Justin Huney, who's a smaller heavyweight, they went 10 rounds, and he landed a punch. He was losing every round in my book, and then he landed a punch that stopped Huney.
Okay. When are you going to go next? Do you know?
Hopefully we're looking at the end of sometime this year. Nothing official yet, but a lot of good things in the works coming up. So definitely ready for that and excited for it.
Well, we're real proud of you because you are our house heavyweight. There's no doubt about this. So you are the guy, and we're really proud of you, and you keep winning, Kingsley. Say hello to Mike Sapaya when you see him. He stiffed me. He was supposed to be here this weekend for a big birthday party, and he said, I got food poisoning in San Salvador. Was he messing with chicks down there? Is that what happened?
I won't put it past him, but he was definitely having a good time in El Salvador.
You're not gonna snitch on Mike here for me?
No. What happens in El Salvador stays in El Salvador.
Oh man, I told you what happened that time when the black guys started a race riot after the Martin Luther King assassination. Did I tell you that story?
No, I don't think you told me that.
The black guys at Juniper Serra Elementary School in San Francisco started a race riot the day after Martin Luther King was assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee. I think it was like April 4th or April 5th, 1968. So they started a riot, right? Mike shut that spit with an H. Mike shut that down, all one guy.
Wow.
There was about like 8 or 10 brothers, and they got together. They were going to start wrecking things up, and Mike just shut that riot. Mike controlled them. One guy. That's how bad Mike was. I kid you not. Mike was he was a monster.
Yeah, that guy, that dude.
He was a street fighting monster. Anyway, we wish you the very best of luck, continued success. I'll talk to you real soon, and congratulations on the win. Stay in shape. Don't lag.
Thank you very much, brother. Look forward to the next time.
All right, Queensley Ibe, of course, he's 16-2 heavyweight on a big roll. Now we wish him the very best. Let's look at the junior middleweight division. That's the division I'm really high on. And people, why do I say that? Because there's this guy by the name of Bakran Murzalev, who's 23-0. He's got the IBF title. He's 32 years old, fighting out of Oxnard, California, by way of Russia. Nobody wants to fight him. Number 2 is Xander Zayas, who's a WBO champion. He's a New Yorker, of course, of Puerto Rican descent, 22 and zip, 23 years old. He ain't much. He fights out of Sunrise, Florida, but that last fight he had, I don't care. Virgil Ortiz, the star, the heir apparent to greatness. I thought he was the next Oscar De La Hoya, the next Golden Boy. I mean, he looked so good. He was like 19-0, 18-0 with 18 knockouts and at 147 pounds welterweight. Then he had those medical weight issues that were tied to his weight draining, this and that. And then he said he had to move up in weight. He was going to move up to 160 or 154. And now he's ranked at 154 pounds, the number 3 guy. He is the guy that, given the opportunity, and if he was to win, he would become the face. He could become truly the face of boxing. In other words, somebody that's articulate, somebody that can talk, somebody that's smart, somebody who can rock and roll. I mean, listen, there's not much Virgil Ortiz can't do right now as far as his verbal skills are concerned and his physical skills are concerned. Put the two together, and he's one of the better fighters pound for pound in the entire world. I thought he was the heir apparent to greatness at 147. I thought he was going to be able to beat the guy that beat Terrence Crawford at 147, but they never hooked up. Didn't happen. That was a mega fight that never happened. But he's 27 years old, and I look for great things still to come out of Virgil Ortiz. Of course, the aforementioned Sebastian Fedora, 23-1-1. Of course, that one loss, he got dropped and drilled. Fights out of Coachella, California. Of course, he is the WBC champion. He's ranked number 4. Number 5, the aforementioned Keith Thurman. I don't know why they've got him number 5 when he hasn't fought since. He fought some guy in Australia that was like a bowling pin. Anyway, 31-1. No draws, but he's 36 years old now and living out of Florida. Number 6 is Idril Madrimov. We saw him fight Terrence Crawford a while back. Of course, he didn't look all that good. Terrence Crawford didn't, but I think Crawford was playing all you guys. Crawford didn't fight hard in that fight because he wanted the Canelo fight. In other words, he was willing to give Canelo all the weight. He was willing to look bad in his prior fight, the whole 9 yards, or not look so stellar in the prior fight. Anything just to get the fight with Canelo because he knew he could beat Canelo, and he did. As far as the rest of the top 10 is concerned, number 7, Erickson Luba. He's 29 years old, 27-2, comes out of Florida. Jesus Alejandro Ramos is 23-1. He's from Arizona. And the number 1 guy is Usimi Lima. He's 14-1, 32 years old out of Portugal. And the number 10 guy is a new WBA champion, Abbas Baru, 17-1, 30 years old, out of Berlin, Germany. Straight up, this is Ring Talk Live Worldwide. You're inside looking at the world of boxing. And guess what? My producer had to tell me to go to break twice this way. Twice. He's spanking me in the other room. Straight up, this is Ring Talk.
Everyone watches more than 5 hours of television. Really? And that's not counting mobile viewing. Get Dish TV and make that time worth it. With Dish, you can get hundreds of channels, access to all kinds of sports, tons of movies, premium channels, and more. Another thing that's really cool with Dish is you can watch most of your favorite shows on your mobile device anywhere for a lot less than cable. Yes, that's right. We are asking you to watch more TV and not less TV, but make it better television with Dish this time, anytime, anywhere. So Call right now and learn how easy it is to save on your television bill and get the most out of your TV viewing experience. Dial that number and I promise you we're here waiting for your call because we want to save you money and give you better television. We are Dish TV.
800-293-0328. 800-293-0328. 800-293-0328. That's 800-293-0328.
This is a true, sad story for ADT, the leader in home security systems. My favorite dog, Oliver, was stolen from our garage recently. If I had a camera system installed in my home from ADT, I would have known exactly what car possibly pulled up in my driveway and stole my little friend. If I had a security system from ADT, my dog would still be here. I called ADT this weekend, and they're coming out in a few days to install a camera and a new security system. Unfortunately, it's a little too late for me. Listen, protect everyone you love in your family. Call ADT now. Have them come out and give you a quote to install a full security system in your home. Don't let it be too late for you. Call right now.
Paid for by the Home Security Hotline. 800-361-3491. 800-361-3491. 800-361-3491. That's 800-361-3491.
I'm holding in my hand the American Silver Eagle dollar. It's a beautiful piece of American history, and it's 1 ounce of silver. Originally minted in 1986, these coins are a beautiful classic piece of American history, and they're a great investment you should add to your portfolio. The beauty of silver is that however much you have available to invest, silver is affordable and easy to acquire, with one coin costing around $30. So, if you choose to invest a few thousand in silver, you can get quite a bit for your money. And you'll have a tangible asset that you can hold, one you can be proud to own. Claim your piece of American history with American Silver Eagle dollars. Call the Silver Hotline right now.
800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. That's 800-620-1624.
Now, more of Ring Talk with Pedro Fernandez.
It's macho time.
Dana White was doing this thing last night. Of course, took his act, his UFC act, to Perth, Australia, drew 12,500 people. More power to him. That's money, no doubt about that. Money in the bank in the main event. Light heavyweight Carlos Ulberg defeated Dominic Reyes, who was a KO. Dominic's been around a long time. KO in the very first round, 427. And Jimmy Crute beat Ivan Erstina. That was a submission, a reverse can opener, wherever the hell that is. And in the third fight on the main card, Jack Jenkins defeated Ramon Tavares by unanimous nod. No big names on the card. Of course, the UFC is basically rebuilding themselves. But when you can rebuild yourselves and pack 13,000 people in an arena week after week, 20,000 here, 18,000 here, guess what? You're doing the right thing. I might not like him. I don't like the fact that he pimps people off. That's my opinion of Dana White's business practices. He's not really a promoter per se. He's a pimp. He just is. I mean, he's a pugilistic pimp. Put it to you like that. That's my opinion. But Dana White, never my favorite guy, no doubt about that. And of course, he continues to be a piece of work trying to remove the only teeth that are left in the Muhammad Ali Boxing Act. I mean, Harry Reid, the senator from Las Vegas, he took all the legislative teeth out of that when he was working for Bob Arum. I'm sorry, he wasn't working for Bob Arum, but he was a United States senator from Nevada, so he might as well have been working with Bob Arum and the people in Las Vegas. Anyway, bottom line is the Muhammad Ali Boxing Act needs to be saved. The Muhammad Ali Boxing Revival Act, that Dana's calling it, is a piece of work, not good for boxers. This has been another edition of Ring Talk Live Worldwide, your inside look in the world of boxing and MMA. I am blessed to have one of the greatest producers in the history of all radio. I'm talking about the great Bailey Peck. Thank you so much, Bailey, for coming in today, and I want to thank you, the Ring Talk family, for tuning in to Ring Talk Live Worldwide. 41 years, knocking out all bums. So next time, Ring Talk is a production of the Sports Byline Broadcast Network.